Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'll be covering part 2 to the story I was covering earlier, where things left off, our guy thought he was in paradise, married, thought he had a great wife, great life, and she's pregnant. What could go wrong? Well, you're about to see. So he continues, saying, over the next few months, she showed me no affection whatsoever, not even a hug. Not a hug? My mom even had a talk with her, but also assured me it's just hormones and the pregnancy. Jessica assured me that she'd be okay, but because her mom and sister had a history of miscarriages, she was only protecting our baby. I was like, really? Not even a hug? She just blew me off. I put up with her mood because she was pregnant, but it was a moody, miserable time. SSM, I was like, WTF, really? You should not have... Yeah, okay, she's got a little human being growing in her. That's obviously very tough. And the morning sickness and all these things, fair enough, and hormones, that doesn't justify how psycho some pregnant gals can get towards their guy. I don't accept that. And you shouldn't have either. So the place that we lived in, the cul-de-sac, was a wonderful close bunch of neighbors. We all watched out for each other's families. We had a block party every 4th of July, and every month one of us would host a barbecue, and we would just enjoy good food and conversation. It was always a good time. Kind of sounds like my neighborhood. Shit, you gotta see my neighborhood tonight for Halloween. I'm gonna get 16,000 kids at my door. I gotta hurry up this video so I can get everything ready. So I suggested to Jessica that we do the next barbecue. Hopefully it would get her out of her funk and she could just socialize with the neighbors. Well, she blew up and said that she wouldn't be able to relax when she had to do everything. But I assured her I had already spoken to the neighbors, and our neighbors would do all the cooking, and all the wives would be there to pamper your baby bump and give you encouragement. She thought about it and agreed. So that Sunday, we hosted the barbecue. All the neighbors were there, and we were enjoying the conversation and drinks. My next-door neighbor Mike and his wife Mary were there as expected. They were a fun and vibrant couple about 15 years older than us. Everyone loved Mike and his wife, as they were always the life of the party. Mike was a former professional athlete that retired with lots of money and investments. He was a great-looking guy, and his wife was a former model and wannabe actress that was never successful. They portrayed themselves as the perfect couple. Well, those types are usually full of shit. I played golf with Mike a few times a year and thought he was a great guy. I even helped his son swap an engine on his motorcycle. Little did I know how much of a shitbag Mike turned out to be. Yeah, we could all see this one coming. So the barbecue was going great. We were sitting on the back patio drinking beer, and my friend Eric threw me a can of tomato juice. I didn't realize it was mixed with beer. I opened it and it exploded all over my face. We laughed, and I walked over to the side of the house and turned on the hose and started washing off my face and legs. From the side of my house, I could see through the kitchen window blinds. I saw Mike walk into the kitchen and whisper something into my wife's ear. She smiled and she kissed him. He then pulled her bathing suit wrap up and ran his finger down her baby bump. I couldn't believe what the F I was seeing. I was stunned and my mind was racing. I knew then and there he was effing my wife. There you go, Mike, the also perfect neighbor. Dude, I'm sorry. You thought you had a great one and you were so happy with the kid on the way. Now you had to ask yourself what we're all thinking here. Is that kid mine? Well, Mike deserves a butt whooping, but imagine just seeing this, guys, thinking your world is so great. I mean, you'd just be shocked. I walked back over and sat down at the patio table. Everyone was still laughing and having a good time at my house. I put on my sunglasses to hide my anger and thoughts. I started to feel lightheaded. Next thing I knew, my buddy Eric was slapping me in the face as I passed out and bumped my head on the table. Shit, dude. Jessica came over hugging me, asking if I was all right. Oh, now she's hugging you? I told her I was feeling sick and needed to go lay down. I pretty much ruined the barbecue, but I didn't care at this point. I went to our bedroom and just laid there thinking about my next steps. I was going to destroy Jessica and Mike, and the question was the baby mine? All the talks from my dad and grandpa on choosing the right woman kept replaying in my mind. I was overwhelmed with stress and heartbreak. Damn, dude, I'm sorry. But you know what? Thank God you had the ultimate A-team with you, A-team of lawyers and preparations to get out of this mess and strike vengeance on those two a-holes. But then remember, guys, all along he's thinking this is a baby in her belly. amongst many other things. That guy's lucky he didn't go full Marine and take him out. Well, the next morning, I went to the law firm and told my brother everything. He asked me to come again the next day, and we would have a meeting with the attorneys on the matter and put a plan to action. I arrived the next day and went into the conference room. I was shocked. There were about six attorneys, my mother, my brother, and my sister. They were all discussing the best plans to move forward. Well, this is who you want on your side. The plan was simple but extensive. My brother ran it like a Marine recon operation. First, we would gather much more information on Jessica and her possible affair with Mike. My IT guys would install several spy cameras in the house around my property. All phone records on Jessica would be gathered, and her phone was in my company's name, by the way. Oh, that's perfect. A private investigator would provide surveillance of Jessica and Mike. All of Mike's businesses, investments, and assets would be investigated. Man, these morons messed with the wrong family. Again, Jessica knows about your family. But again, this makes Jessica a Jessica. She probably thinks, hey, I'll never get caught, or I'm with big bad Mike over here and all his money. She's just a play toy for Mike. My mother insisted the plans need to be careful and would accommodate two different options depending on the paternity of the child. If the child was mine, I would go for full custody. If the child was not mine, Jessica and her bastard child would be forced to sail off into the sunset, and Mike would be sued in civil court. Wonderful. We lived in an at-fault state and had a prenuptial agreement with the infidelity clause. Oh, man, I love it. At-fault state. Based on the findings of the surveillance, I wanted to sue Mike in civil court. I wanted his reputation destroyed and that motherfucker humiliated. Well, he's going to settle. He ain't going to court. The lawyer stated Mike would never allow it to go that far. He would never be deposed and would settle. See? I said I needed to think about it, and I wanted that motherfucker to be forever publicly humiliated. I wanted his reputation destroyed. One of the lawyers chimed in and said, put your emotions aside. Let's see what we gather first. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, sometimes it's better to tame the wild dog than put it down. Well, listen to your lawyer, particularly a good one. Well, my brother looked at me and said, you need to play the long game here, and you're getting, and get your bearing in check, bro. Bearing is a term we use in the military. I knew exactly what he was saying. It was obvious that all the lawyers knew what to do, and they didn't want me going off half-cocked and ruining the payday. I could see they loved their task, and they were given full scorched earth. They went into full scorched earth mode. I thought to myself, holy crap, never F with these guys. These lawyers were killers for hire. They covered every topic and every possible scenario. My mother said, looking at everyone, if that's my grandchild, we are going to protect the child, so plan accordingly. I could tell the way the lawyers looked at my mother that they knew she was serious. Then my mother and sister got up and left. The orders were in, and I was quite impressed. Well, remember, guys, his dad owns a law firm. Now, he said that they retired, but still they own it, obviously. And the brother and sister worked there, so they obviously came in from their retirement to the conference room to chime in their skills. They still have influence, even though they're not running the day-to-day operations. And they know they're going to get a payday soon, that Mike character. So this is cool. So the next day, I met again with my brother and my main divorce lawyer, a 50-year-old woman who my brother called Ice Baby. He actually did a little jig and dance in his office while singing Ice Ice Baby. We didn't need to hear that, but okay. It was hilarious. She was a killer for hire, and my discussions with her proved she was the right person for the job. She gave me a list of everything I needed to do and explained the timeline to how our surveillance and investigations will be managed and evidence cataloged. Jessica would work from home 1 day a week, and during her pregnancy, this would eventually go to 2 days a week. How'd she work from home as a registered nurse at any time, unless she was doing paperwork or something, but okay. I called her and asked her what days she'd be working from home and that I wanted to take her to lunch that day. My wonderful, lovely wife told me the day, but she didn't want me around as she would take advantage of the day and get some extra needed rest. I thought to myself, really? Let's see about that. Well, my cameras were recording 24/7 video and audio and backup stored to the cloud. My father's home office was actually a converted open-air den with no doors. It was tucked off to the side, and from his office chair, you could see the living room, kitchen, and down the hallway leading to the bedrooms. It was perfectly situated for my main spy camera that was placed in the bookshelf behind the main desk. Holy crap, man. My home computer webcam was also recording 24/7. I could access all of it remotely from anywhere in the world. My lovely Jessica was clueless to all this. I almost felt sorry for the whore, but I knew I would catch her on video cheating. Little did I know how incredible and atrocious her betrayal was. Yeah, we're about to get into what he discovers on video, guys, and disclaimer, I wouldn't be eating anything while I read this. Her first work home day after I met with the lawyers came. What I saw on video shocked me to the core, and to this day, I can't erase those horrible images from my mind. I got up that morning, made us breakfast and coffee, kissed Jessica on the cheek, and left for work. I got to my office, logged in remotely to the cameras, and waited. I was nervous and drinking my coffee. The first camera to alert us was the front yard view of Mike's wife leaving in her car. Then Jessica's phone rang. She picked up the phone and said, "Hey, baby," and it was clear she was talking to Mike. She walked outside through the backyard and unlocked the back gate. The gate was a service gate that led to the service alley where our trash bins were located. She walked back into the house, and the backyard camera was alerted. Mike came through the back gate, walked into the kitchen, and poured himself coffee and sat on the couch. Jessica then came out of the bedroom and sat with Mike on the couch. She was only wearing a pair of sexy underwear and a t-shirt. They kissed and fondled each other for a while. God, this must have been just... Remember, guys, even though she's betraying him, and he knows about this, he still loved her. He was still married to her. He still thought he was going to be with her forever. So as much as all that's going on, he's still heartbroken here. Mike was rubbing her baby bump and asked how his baby boy was doing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing. I was in utter shock and was getting dizzy once again. What I saw next made me throw up. They stood up from the couch and Mike pulled her panties off. He picked Jessica up and carried her over to my father's office chair, placing her on her knees in the chair with her back to him. Mike then tilted the chair forward and proceeded to jackhammer Jessica in the caboose. Okay, well, I guess she was serious about not invading the space of the baby in there because she wouldn't let you sleep with her in that area. But she wasn't offering the caboose for you. She was clearly loving it, saying all kinds of nasty things to him. I couldn't effing believe it, and the main cameras were inches away from the disgusting mess. After Jessica got pregnant, she would give herself weekly enemas. She complained about bloating and said she didn't want to cramp the baby. I thought nothing of it, but the enemas were actually so she could prep her caboose to get packed and stuffed by Mike's impressive $9.99 Costco summer sausage while she pleasured herself. I told you this guy's a sense of humor. Given what you've been through, you got a good sense of humor, man. While I was dizzy watching this shit, I thought I was going to pass out. I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. I lay down on my office floor trying to catch my breath. As I lay there, I thought of everything my dad and grandpa had said over the years. How did I marry the wrong girl? Yeah, man, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, again, maybe you weren't there that day on the fishing boat when they said, don't spend all your time with her and make her think that, you're more into her and all those things. But look, you spent a long time with her, and clearly she was able to cover her tracks the whole time. It can happen, guys. I still stand by. You need to spend years getting to know your girl. But that doesn't mean it's always going to work. As in here. And how dumb is she to do this to a guy like you with a family of money and lawyers? I mean, come on here. I got up and uploaded the footage to a shared drive for my lawyer. I then called my bro. I whimpered like a little girl on the phone. My heart went from being crushed to burning hate. By the end of the day, I felt nothing for Jessica. I just wanted Mike and her to pay for this. Mike was the perfect guy every man wanted to be. Wealthy, former star, good-looking, etc. But I wanted him buried and humiliated. This piece of shit walked into my house, way too easy, pouring himself coffee, made out with my wife, and then stuffed her like a Christmas turkey, in my father's chair. My dad loved that chair and would always brag about how comfortable it was. Man, the second she moved out, it was time to throw that in the dumpster, light on fire. Well, obviously, Jessica and Mike agreed with that, too, and found that chair was the perfect loft to lie an angle for a pregnant woman to get cornholed by Mike's pitching wedge. I knew that day that other than my mother and sister, I would never trust another woman again. Dude, yeah, welcome to the club here. Guys have been burned. I certainly never trust again. He says, SSM, I've heard you say it, women will screw over a good guy, then have the nerve to ask where all the good men are. The level of betrayal is just unfathomable. I knew the minute I married Jessica, I would die for her and give her everything. Smack! Never ever do that. Again, you missed that day when Grandpa told you not to do that too. I never cheated or ever thought of cheating on her. I was content to be with her to the day I died, and I knew it. I believe you, man. I don't want to go into everything. Well, I appreciate that, because at this point, you really have gone into everything. But the next 3 months were very stressful, but I tried to stay focused. Jessica continued to be a disgusting SLUT. Through the surveillance, we captured Jessica getting her caboose plowed by Mike 23 times, and she gave Mike 7 BJs. Did she give him the BJs after getting her caboose plowed, or was that a separate time? I'm sure there had to be a few ass-to-mouth scenarios there. Why not? The PI captured them going into one of Mike's properties 9 times. It was just unbelievable. Good God. How you were able to keep your poker face, but I guess you had your team of lawyers and family encouraging you to be strong and, do your thing. It's amazing. But I was not there at that time. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay in the house with her knowing what was going on. Oh, so eventually you couldn't take it and got out of there. I told my mother I had to leave. I told Jessica I had to travel to India and then Thailand for a month to vet and interview software teams for a large development project for a client. I told her I'd be back well before the delivery, but I did not. I stayed overseas for 3 months. So that goes to show you just how much she obviously didn't care and wasn't even thinking about it, because any pregnant woman who had their husband say, oh, by the way, honey, I need to go on a long business trip on the other side of the world, would be a tad PO'd about that. She's probably like, okay, goodbye, and didn't care. Well, I was not present at the delivery, and I did not sign the birth certificate. Jessica was served with divorce papers after delivery, and Mike was also served. Damn, dude. Please tell me somebody put that on video. Their fucked up world crumbled like a stack of old cookies. I was, in fact, not the father of the child. Thank you, court-ordered paternity test. Yeah, I didn't think you were, man. What the lawyers said about taming a wild dog came true. Mike was desperate to settle. I knew he would be. He paid a crazy financial price to hide his true character from the world. Thanks, Mike, for the financial freedom. Jessica is now a miserable single mom, and she had to pay me in the divorce. Thank you. On paper, breadwinner. Go, you strong, powerful, independent woman. Remember, guys, when I told you earlier? Sorry about my cough, guys. I got this. The second I started filming early, it started. I'm trying to get through this. Remember I said earlier, guys, that he's declaring a salary of $20,000 a year, and the rest of the money he's put back in the business. Meanwhile, she's getting paid 7-8 times as him. How it would come back that she'd have to pay him? Right here. Because in the eyes of the law and everything, and the taxes and everything, she's the breadwinner. Even though he's loaded. That was 2 years ago, and I could write a book about the drama that unfolded in that time. Dude, we want to hear it. But I'm going to go jet skiing with my bikini girls on the beach right now. And thank you, accounting lawyer, for the pro tip. Expenses itemized, including the jet skis. He says, peace out, SSM. All the best to you and your channel. I will continue to be a fan and promote your channel. Well, that is the abrupt ending there. And it certainly was abrupt because, holy crap, there was a lot building up to this in the story and a very abrupt ending. At this point, man, you could have given more details, but okay, no problem there. You've gone through hell and you lived to tell the tale. And holy crap, man, I'm sorry about what happened. I really am. But thank God you had your family, who are great people to begin with, and the fact that they're lawyers, and you got money, and you can use law firm resources, which your mom and dad own, to help your situation. And that big settlement you got from fucking jerk-off Mike, you got it made. And you got a business that you love, and you're living life as you want. You deserve this after what you've gone through. And I love the fact that she had to pay you. That's freaking hilarious. And she knew it, too. She knew. But the fact is that she did this crap knowing what she was up against. It shows the absolute arrogance. And notice he said that he didn't mention that she's with Mike anymore. That guy probably dropped her like a bad habit. And he also got cleared out in the divorce after the lawsuit for the civil lawsuit. So that's awesome. So, man, you earned a good life. I'm sure you're a forever bachelor at this point, and keep living up in Thailand or wherever the hell you go. And if you got more stories to share, definitely send them my way. And so all you guys want to hear more about this guy and his adventures, because obviously there was a lot more to the tale, but he wanted to wrap it up. let him know in the comment section. I guarantee he'll read it, and he'll definitely write out to me one day. So anyhow, guys, there you go. You really vet your girl. Have yourself a good team. Have the right arrangements set up ahead of time with the prenup done properly, of course. And get prepared for war if something happens. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story to share or a question you want to ask me to help you out, whatever your situation is, be sure to send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.